Hello, hello, it's Coyote Christina, surfer, author, dreamweaver. This is the Sunday post for week 9 of the Amazed and Amused book launch campaign. And week 9 is the final week, so this is the wrap up. It's been quite a journey. I just kind of wrote out my thoughts. I'm a better writer than speaker, so I'm just gonna read kind of a summary of last week. We talked about the first half of the celebration stage and celebrating on the shores of the Graces with swan, otter, dog, hummingbird, and horse. And this week, for the final week, we're going to go into the second half of the celebration stage. That was the first half. And we'll be discussing the altar and learn to let go of our own limited views by placing all our hopes and fears on the altar and opening to endless possibilities. And we do this with eagle, buffalo, turkey, and raccoon. So it is the surrendering to a higher purpose that allows us to be guided to the life of our dreams. The Amazed and Amused book launch campaign started on June 8th, which seems like a long time ago. The whole summer has gone by, and has been quite an adventure. We had 3 full moons. We just had one on the 9th on Saturday. We had one on July 10th, and then we had one the first week of the campaign on 6/11. It was a Wednesday. I've read lots of encouraging and inspiring words and advice from @SpiritDaughter. She does astrology and talks about each moon and the phases that they're in. We've also, right now, we're experiencing the Lionsgate portal, and that opened on July 28th and it closes on August 12th. And the main day for the portal is that 8/8, and there's the numerology around the number 8, as well as being said to be the highest vibration day, so the best for manifestation. And it's the alignment, it's the annual Lionsgate portal. It's an annual celestial event. It's where the star Sirius starts rising, and it aligns with this brightest star in Orion's belt and the sun, I believe, and they're in Leo, so Leo the lion, Lionsgate portal. We've also learned about our chakras, and the chakras are a way to describe our energy system and how it aligns with Western psychology, with the great book Eastern Body, Western Mind. I was just looking around to see if I had a copy. Where did I put it? It was just here, but I've held it up a couple times. It's called Eastern Body, Western Mind, Psychology and the Path to Self, by Anadea Judith. Let's see. I hope you've enjoyed learning about animal guides and chakras, as well as the breathing and yoga poses I shared on Movement Mondays. There's so many activities that can lead us to our inner wisdom and our body's knowing, and move us one step closer to the joy that is our birthright, and bring more peace to the world, one person at a time. I hope the words and information I've shared have encouraged you to move toward joy, and that you embark upon or continue your journey to joy and building your life of your dreams. And would love it if you haven't yet, if you would support the Amazed and Amused book launch campaign and purchase, in the pre-sale, purchase a copy of Amazed, Amused, and Often Confused. One of the questions that I ask in Amazed and Amused, and that seems even more, and I wrote this question a few years ago, but it seems really pertinent today, and that's: how are we going to heal our nation if we don't know how to heal our own hearts? And one of the main concepts in the book that kind of aligns with that is the power of self-transformation, and that the greatest gift we have to give is that of our own self-transformation. And we talked about that, and I shared the Lao Tzu poem that I took that line from. Part of that poem, one of the lines is: the greatest gift we have to give, or that you have to give, is that of your own self-transformation. So the best tools I've found are the ones that make us get curious, and that begin to build connections. And that's why I love animal guides, because that builds my connection with nature. It gets me curious. I just think it's fun when I see a lizard, or I start seeing spiders or dragonflies. Then I go and read about them, and it just reminds me of like, oh, dragonfly, an illusion, and just a lizard is dreaming, and do I need to go and sit in the shadows, and time to bring some of my ideas into the world, and how's that going to happen? So it's just a fun way of being more intentional with life. And then to wrap up the summary here for the Sunday post, the summary. Last week, we talked about the first half of that celebration stage, like I said, with swan, otter, dog, hummingbird, and horse. And now I'm just going to go through the whole campaign. So we started with an introduction to the inner journey, and I call it the Journey to Joy. At first, I did my first book, To Kill a Coyote, was about the journey from heartbreak to joy. And then I'm just finding that it's a continual process of moving towards joy and away, and processing the confusion in the world, the heartbreak that I've suppressed for so many years. And so it's just a continual journey to joy. And the distance between where you are and the joy that is your birthright depends on how far away you are from the ability to abide in the present moment. And that's really just about bringing ourselves into the present moment and being able to see the beauty of the world, to embrace it. And that helps. That's the journey to joy in a nutshell. So humanity, so we start this journey, or my journey is based on the framework of humanity, and that helps me connect. And the animals that we looked at during the humanity section and the framework is dolphin, mouse, beaver, crow, and ant. Dolphin is the breath of life. I should do, that would be good. Dolphin is the breath of life. Just looking at my table of contents. Mouse tells us to pay attention. Beaver tells us to plan and act. Crow is about our intuition and natural law or primal law. And ant is about trusting the universe. So those are some good guides. Next, we went into the initiation stage, which had we talked about the concepts of loss and acceptance. We had Rabbit, who was a fear caller. We had Deer, who helped us melt away the demons. Frog, who cleanses us, clearing away the muck. And then Bat is about dying the shaman's death. Letting go, letting things that are no longer serving us pass. Next, after initiation stage, and initiation is finding our deepest truth and honoring our feelings. The focus was on our root and sacral chakra, and the skill set that we want to develop during the initiation stage was to give ourselves permission to feel our feels, and our right to take up space and just be in this world without proving anything. Our right to be. So those are first and second chakra focus. Next, we went into the realization stage with conscious choice, faith, and no more drama. That's taking ownership of where we are, really beginning to understand, like, oh wow, am I responding to this in a healthy way, or am I reacting out of old patterns and habits? So we take radical accountability for where we are. It's the focus on our third chakra, which is our ego identity, and really becoming aware enough of ourselves and our feelings and sensations in our lower chakras to begin to manage them in healthy ways. So the skill set for the relation stage is healthy ways of being and relating. In the realization stage, first, that's the ability to hold ourselves radically accountable for our lives and where we are. No blaming, no excuses. Life happens, and there are reasons, but not excuses. And then we move into the relation stage. And the concepts we talk about are what is, empowerment, and paradox. The focus is on the heart chakra, because relation, our heart chakra goes into our social identity. So we move from our third chakra and our ego and self-identity into our social identity. And really we want to focus on the love and self-compassion, because that's the more we have self-love and self-compassion, the more we can share love with others and share compassion within the world. So that focuses on the heart chakra. The skill set is healthy ways of being and relating in the world. And we had all kinds of amazing animals in the What Is Empowerment and Paradox to help us with those concepts. Then we move into the transformation stage. And that's when so the realization stage is when we start realizing some of our faulty beliefs and faulty behaviors and patterns. And then in the relation stage, we start putting those into practice with ourselves and with others. And then we find when we actually act these things and we use our body's knowing or our body's ability to do, even when our mind is saying no, 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 and is scared, then we go into the transformation stage. We talk about the concepts of Ithaca and destiny. Ithaca is really the concept of home. Destiny is about embracing and building towards the life of our dreams. So we're deciding where we want to go. The focus is on the throat and third eye chakras. So those, like when we come up into our upper chakras, now we're getting out of our inner world and our lower chakras, and how do we want to be in the world? How do we want to express things? What do we want to manifest and bring to life? So the goal of the transformation stage is transcendence, embracing destiny, and moving beyond fate. And we also, to do this up in our 6 chakras, really focused on the universality of human experience and archetypes and symbolism. And then after that transformation stage, when we're able to set sail on the sea of destiny, then we reach the shores of the graces, and that's the celebration stage. So there's the graces in the altar. We reclaim our birthright of joy, and we are cultivating peace in this beautiful place. We've learned that life is about the journey, not the destination, and arriving is a state of mind that we can cultivate each day. We dance on these shores to celebrate, and we also find the altar, and we offer all our hopes, fears, and dreams, and we lay them all that altar and find ourselves infused with an all-sustaining love that knows its own unconquered power. So that all-sustaining love that knows its own unconquered power is from A Hero with 1,000 Faces and Joseph Campbell. And we finally trust the universe to provide. And that's a wisdom that comes with experience and usually comes later in life, because it takes time to have all those experiences and to build up that type of faith and be able to trust at that level. In the celebration stage, we focus on the free flow of energy through our whole chakra system. It's not just 1 or 2 chakras that we're looking at. That honor all our rights, maintains healthy dynamic balance in our bodies and our lives. We're cultivating peace. We're reclaiming joy. So there we have it. So that's the summary. Looking forward for this the very last, the altar, going through, let me just make sure I mentioned them, but eagle, buffalo, turkey, raccoon are our animal guides this week. And eagle lets us rise above the mundane of the everyday. Buffalo is all about prayer and abundance. Turkey is the giveaway, where we're surrendering, where we become more concerned with what we can give in society to others. And then raccoon is our Robin Hood, our little bandit that's out for social good. All right, have a great day, and I'll be back soon. Take care. Bye-bye.